1 in 3 Americans has no emergency fund, 0. And the median amount for those who do, $500. That number is down from $600 just a year ago. So while half of the country is asking whether they should buy Bitcoin or individual stocks, they've got a bucket full of holes underneath them and they don't even know it. Here's what nobody in personal finance wants to tell you. The order you invest your money matters just as much as the amount. Get the sequence wrong and you can leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table over your lifetime. Get it right and you will lap most of your peers without ever picking a single hot stock. That's what today's video is about. The exact order you should be investing your money in, step by step, and why most people skip the boring, foundational stuff that actually builds real wealth. Let's get into it. I know, you didn't click on this video to hear someone tell you to save an emergency fund. I get it, it's common sense. You want to talk about index funds, Roth conversions, all the exotic stuff, okay? Whether you should be buying small cap value stocks right now, I get it. But your emergency fund isn't just about having money, okay, when your car breaks down or your boiler goes bad. It's a psychological safety net that keeps you from making catastrophically bad financial decisions at the worst possible moment. Think about what happens when you don't have one, okay? This is an emergency fund. The transmission blows on your car in February, you've got $3,000 in a brokerage account that's down 15% at that time, so you sell at the worst time, you lock in a loss, and you rack up interest on whatever you couldn't cover. So that is the real cost of not having an emergency fund. It's not just the expense itself, it's the cascade of bad decisions that follow, the second, third, fourth order effects, okay? So Vanguard studied over 12,000 investors and found that people with at least $2,000 in emergency fund savings had financial well-being scores 21% higher than those without any savings. That was the single largest boost of any financial factor they measured, bigger than having a $500,000 income or $1 million investment portfolio. Not $200,000 in the bank, $2,000. The psychological impact of that cushion is enormous. So here's how I recommend building it. Don't try to think about 6 months of expenses all at once because that number is going to paralyze you. Start with one goal. Get to $1,000 as fast as possible. That covers most minor emergencies and changes how you feel about money almost immediately. Then push to 1 month of expenses, okay? Then 3, that's your target. 3 to 6 months of actual living expenses, not income, sitting in a high yield savings account where it's liquid and earning something while it waits. It doesn't necessarily have to be a high yield savings account. It could be something like SGov, SGOV, for example. But as long as you're protecting your purchasing power, your massive PP, which I have, you need to realize that cash is a melting ice cube, okay? It's going to be melted away by inflation. This is just your safety net. It's not to make money, and you need to preserve your PP in other ways, which we'll talk about later in this video. Here's the part that gets me. Average credit card interest rate right now is over 22%. Warren Buffett's long-term average annual return from Berkshire Hathaway is about 20%. So if you're carrying a credit card balance and investing in the stock market at the same time, you are statistically losing that race every month. So paying off high interest debt is one of the only guaranteed returns available to you as an investor, and most people ignore it because it doesn't feel like investing. So let me make this concrete. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest and you're only making minimum payments, you will pay nearly $2,800 in interest over 5 years. That's almost $3,000 working against you instead of for you. Every dollar you throw at debt is earning you a guaranteed 22% return, tax-free, okay? Show me the index fund that guarantees that. I'll wait. So the rule is simple. Any debt above roughly 8% annual interest needs to go before you invest aggressively. The most mathematically efficient way is the debt avalanche. List all your debts, pay the minimums on everything, and throw every extra dollar at the highest interest rate first. Some people prefer the snowball method. I've made videos about this. It's where you pay off the smallest balance first for a psychological win. And if that keeps you motivated, it works too. The best debt payoff strategy is the one you actually stick to, okay? It's just like a diet plan. But if you're asking me purely on the math, Avalanche wins every time. So this thermometer here, ironically, basically I just try to convey anything in this zone right here, 8%, you want to invest. If it's actually super low down here, like say you got a car at 0% interest rate, It makes no sense to pay that off. You're getting free money, so why not put that in SGov or a high yield savings account or invest it in stocks, right? Anything above 8%, especially in the teens or 20s, you wanna pay that off immediately. Now, here's the one exception to the debt first rule that is so important it becomes its own step. If your employer offers matching contributions on your retirement account, you need to capture every dollar of that match before you do almost anything else. Yes, even if you're carrying high interest debt, I know that sounds counterintuitive or backwards, so let me explain the math. A typical employer match is about 50 cents on every dollar you contribute, up to 6% of your salary. So for example, we have 50 grand, you contribute 3, you're getting back 1,500 from your employer, that's a 50% match, okay? So if you make $50,000 a year and you contribute $3,000 to your 401k, your employer drops in $1,500 for free. That's a 50% immediate return on your money before your investments earn a single penny, okay? No credit card interest rate, no matter how high, beats a guaranteed 50% return on day one. This is free money your employer is legally obligated to give you if you show up. Not grabbing it is one of the most expensive mistakes I see people make. There's one thing you need to check: your company's vesting schedule. Some employers make you stay for 2, 3, even 4 years before that matching money is actually yours. If you're planning to leave your job soon, you need to know whether you'll actually keep that match. But even with a vesting schedule, the math usually still works out in your favor. The strategy is simple: contribute just enough to get the full match, then redirect everything else back to eliminating that high interest rate debt. Once the debt is gone, you can ramp contributions back up, but do not leave the match on the table. Ever, it's free. Sometimes it's actually 100% too. Once you've got the employer match locked down and you're making progress on debt, the next stop is your IRA. This is your individual retirement account. This comes before you go back to maximize your 401k contributions. Why? Because this trips a lot of people up. Your IRA gives you something your employer plan usually doesn't: complete control over where your money goes. Most company 401k plans offer a limited menu of mutual funds, some with expense ratios of 1 to 2% annually. That might sound tiny, but over 30 years, the difference between a 1% fee fund and a 0.03% index fund can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in lost compounding. With an IRA, you can invest in whatever low-cost index fund you want. In 2025, you can contribute up to $7,000 to an IRA if you're under 50, or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. Now comes the question that keeps financial advisors employed. Traditional or Roth? So traditional IRA, Roth IRA. Here's the simple version. Traditional gives you a tax deduction today. That's why I wrote tax deduction now, pay in retirement. And you pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement. Roth, you pay taxes now, and your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. If you're early in your career and in a lower tax bracket, lean towards the Roth. You're paying taxes in today's lower rate, and everything you earn inside that account for the next 30 years comes out completely untaxed. If you're in your peak earning years and you're already in a high tax bracket, the traditional might make more sense because the deduction today is worth more. And if you're not sure, there's nothing wrong with splitting contributions between both. Tax diversification is real, and having both types of accounts in retirement gives you a lot of flexibility. The next section is actually the most underrated account in America. But before that, let's get into today's sponsor, Storyblocks. Real quick, I want to talk about something I actually use in my own production workflow. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that the visuals and the music matter to me, and for that, I use Storyblocks. It's an all-in-one creative toolkit that brings together a massive library of stock footage, music, sound effects, and templates all in one place. So instead of bouncing between 5 different platforms trying to find the right clip or the right track, everything's right there. And here's something I genuinely appreciate about it. The library is 100% human-made. Real filmmakers, real artists. This isn't AI-generated filler, it's professional quality content that actually makes your videos look and sound better. They also have thousands of customizable templates for Premiere Pro, After Effects, and DaVinci Resolve, plus a plugin that lets you pull from the Storyblocks library directly inside Adobe. It saves me real time every single week, and the licensing is completely clear. Everything you download is royalty-free and pre-licensed for monetized YouTube content, so you're not second-guessing yourself every time you drop a music track in. To start telling better stories with the tools I use, head to storyblocks.com/Marko. They're offering 15% off any annual plan for a limited time, and that discount is only available through my link. Check it out down below. This is the one most people skip entirely, and it drives me crazy because if you qualify, the HSA is arguably the most powerful investment account available to any American right now. And I don't say that lightly. Here's why. I know my writing is very small. Just turn your device to the right horizontally or watch it on a big TV, okay? Every other account I've mentioned gives you either a tax break on the way in or the way out. The HSA gives you all three, okay? You get a tax deduction when you contribute, your money grows tax-free while it's invested, and when you take your money out, withdrawals for qualified medical expenses, that withdrawal is also completely tax-free. No other account in the tax code does all three. In 2025, you can contribute up to $4,300 for individual coverage or $8,550 for family coverage. The catch is you have to be enrolled in a high deductible health plan, HDHP, which isn't right for everyone, okay? I need to preface that. But if you're relatively young and healthy and not burning through medical expenses every year, this account is a monster. Here's the strategy that makes it really powerful. If you can afford to pay your medical bills out of pocket right now, do it. Let your HSA money sit invested in this vehicle. This is supposed to be a Swiss Army knife. Oh, what is this, a pigtail, dude? What is that? Let your HSA money sit invested in the market, okay? Keep every single receipt. There's no time limit on when you can reimburse yourself for qualified medical expenses. You could pay for a doctor visit today, keep the receipt, and pull that money out of your HSA completely tax-free 20 years from now. After 65, the HSA essentially becomes a second traditional IRA. You can withdraw for anything, not just medical expenses, and you'll just pay ordinary income tax on non-medical withdrawals. But here's the thing, medical expenses in retirement are basically guaranteed. Fidelity estimates that the average couple will spend over $300,000 on healthcare in retirement. So having a pile of completely tax-free money earmarked for that is like having a cheat code against one of retirement's biggest financial risks. If you max out your HSA, sorry, this drawing is so bad. For 30 years at 7% annual return, you're looking at over $400,000 in tax-free money. That number should stop you in your tracks. Think about that. Once you've hit the employer match, maxed your IRA, and loaded up your HSA, go back to your 401k and max it out completely if you're able to afford it. In 2025, the limit is $23,500 if you're under 50 or $31,000 if you're 50 or older. At this point, between your IRA, HSA, and 401k, you could be sheltering nearly $35,000 a year from current taxation. That is a serious wealth building engine, and most Americans never get anywhere near it. The average personal savings rate in this country is around 4 to 5% of income, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, which most people doesn't even cover the employer match, let alone everything else on this list. If you're working through this entire sequence, you are already in the top 5% of savers in America. Once all of those tax advantage buckets are full, that's when you finally open the door to taxable brokerage account. Okay, that's this on top of the pyramid right here. Taxable accounts are great, okay? Total flexibility, no contribution limits, no withdrawal restrictions. You can use the money for a house down payment or to bridge the gap if you want to retire early before your retirement accounts are accessible, okay, before the penalty. But the tax drag is real. If you invest $10,000 per year for 30 years at 7% in a tax advantage account, you end up with roughly $944,000. Do the same thing in a taxable account, and after taxes on dividends and capital gains, you might land closer to $700,000. That's $244,000 of difference from taxes alone. Nothing else changed. So you have the same return, same contributions, same timeline. The sequence matters, okay? So again, just to recap everything, emergency fund is the foundation. High interest rate debt is a great payoff. It's guaranteed tax-free rate of return. Your employer match, in some cases, you might actually want to do that before this, okay, because you're going to get 50 to 100% depending. And then your IRA, HSA, and then max the 401k and taxable accounts. All right, here are my honest thoughts at the end of the video, as always. So I've been investing for over 2 decades now, since 2006, okay, since I was 18 years old. I used to own rental properties. I'm in the market. I have a lot of money in the market. And my wife and I have been intentional about building on one income so the other is always a bonus. And the thing I tell my younger self isn't to pick better stocks or time the market differently. It's to follow this sequence exactly that I just taught you, especially in your 20s and early 30s when compounding works hardest for you. None of this is glamorous, but the people I know who are genuinely financially free in their 40s didn't get there by finding some secret investment, okay? Some were entrepreneurs, some were smart, some had a modest income, but they were all diligent, okay? They got there by doing the boring stuff in the right order and not stopping. Emergency fund, kill the high interest rate debt, grab every dollar of your employer match, max your IRA, use the HSA if you qualify, fill up the 401k, and then only then worry about your taxable accounts. If you can follow that sequence with consistency, you will lap 90% of the people around you, not because you're smarter, but because you didn't get distracted, okay? Now, if you want to go deeper on any of this, the real estate side, how I actually structure my own portfolio, live trades as I make them, and a full course on personal finance and stocks, that's what Whiteboard Finance University is built for. It's a private community with courses covering personal finance, real estate, investing, stocks, everything you can think of. And then every Thursday, I do a live stream where we walk through what's actually happening in the market in real time and also what I'm investing in. I always show my portfolio. The link is in the description. It's $10 a month to change your family tree. If you can't afford $10 a month, I don't know, DM me. Maybe I'll give it to you for free. No, I won't because you're never gonna build a discipline to actually save that money in the first place. So it's $10 a month, super, super, super cheap. There's people that sell these cheesy trading courses for $200 a month, live calls once a month for $3,000. Stop, those are all grifters. Sign up for this, it's legit. We have hundreds of members. Let's keep building together, and as always, have a prosperous day. Oh look, a DM. Hey Marko, I would like to join Whiteboard Finance University, but I don't have the $10. Can I join for free?